Oops, Nvidia did it again. So hello everyone and welcome to The Good Old Gamer, the channel where we cut through all the marketing BS, look at all the new and old gaming technologies to figure out what makes the most sense for you. Alrighty guys, so the RTX 3070 has released and looks like Nvidia has dropped the ball once again. This isn't really too much of a surprise for anybody, but the fact that you can't get these graphics cards with such a high demand, and the fact that Nvidia pushed this launch back to meet demand and obviously couldn't, this really doesn't spell a very good outcome for Nvidia come this holiday season. Especially now that we know that AMD's RX 6000 series poses a substantial and real credible threat to Nvidia. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today. We're also going to be talking about the fact that AMD's pricing structure may now be validated due to the fact that Nvidia cannot release their products appropriately. Alrighty guys, before we get into it, if you like these kind of videos, please smash that like button. It tells YouTube that I'm doing well over here and you guys enjoy this kind of content. YouTube likes to nerf my videos if you guys don't smash that like button and don't comment in the comment section. So I really do appreciate everybody who does that. It's absolutely free, and sharing on social media also helps. So thank you all for supporting the channel. Alright, so RTX 3070, let's start with the good here. I talked about it in the last video. The good news is basically the card performs exactly as we all anticipated. Performs at the level that Nvidia said it would, and that is basically matching that of the RTX 2080 Ti. That was a $1,200 card just a couple of months ago. So that coming in at $499 now is a very appealing product for the vast majority of you. Even I was kind of interested in it, and personally I like to stay underneath the $400 mark, but getting $1,200 performance for $500, I mean, that's pretty tough to pass up. Now this is the reason why Nvidia pushing back the release to go ahead and get more stock on hands made a lot of sense to pretty much all of us. We knew that this was going to be the big one. Even though the 3080 and 3090 sold out instantly, the markets for those, especially the 3090, are much, much smaller than that of something like the 3070. The RTX 3070, believe it or not, at least as of this point, is the only announced current generation GPU that's actually at the price point of the next gen consoles. And this is one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. There's a lot of rumors out there saying that Nvidia is holding back stock and they're trying to push up prices, and this is all done intentionally. I would normally agree with you under like regular circumstances, like with the RTX 2000 series. This time around, that doesn't make any sense at all. In fact, Nvidia is more vulnerable this time than they've pretty much been in the past 10 to 15 years. Pretty much since the first Fermi came out, this is the weakest showing that we've seen from Nvidia. And the first mistake that Nvidia made was choosing Samsung for their process, their 8nm process. They didn't even go with the 7nm, which would be far more competitive with TSMC. Might not be better, but at least it'd be close. But they went with the cheaper node to try and save a few bucks. Now, it's pretty obvious that there's some sort of yielding issues. A lot of people believe that. I don't know if it's so much yielding as far as bad die coming out. More than likely, they're not hitting the high clock speeds that Nvidia needs to sell these cards at. To me, that makes the most sense. More than likely, they're binning their own chips for the top performers, and this is the reason why the RTX 3080 and 3090 don't overclock at all. They're already pushed to the red line, so these are already pretty much the top bin chips of the 8nm process. To me, this says Nvidia will likely come out with Ti models, which will come out at lower clocks with higher shader core counts to make up the difference, because if that's the case, they could probably produce those a lot easier. To me, this is the only thing that makes sense for these supply shortages, because like I said, they made that mistake, but the other mistake is the fact that this year, we not only have a competitive AMD at the top level, which we haven't seen since the R9 290X back in 2013. You might be able to argue the Fury X, but realistically, Nvidia hasn't been under pressure since the R9 290X in 2013, in my opinion anyway. But not only that, we do have the next generation consoles coming out. Like I just said, and they're coming out at the top end at $499 and going down from there. And we're expecting through console optimizations, those machines to perform like a 2080 Super or possibly even a 2080 Ti if properly optimized for. And that's basically the performance you're getting from just the RTX 3070. So even if the 3070 just happened to be like a smidgen faster than, let's say, the Xbox Series X, you get a complete system for the same price. So that is going to be a very appealing alternative option for a lot of people out there. And then let's switch it back over. Now we know what Big Navi is. We have the full reveal. We have pricing. We have release dates. We can go ahead and talk about this pretty definitively now. AMD is going to compete with the 3090, the 3080, and actually not compete with the 3070, surprisingly enough. They went ahead and came out with the RX 6800 non-XT, and it's between 10 to 15% faster. Overall, looks like it'll probably come out about 10% faster than the 3070 as they compared it to the 2080 Ti. And that's pretty good, but it also has double the VRAM. Now, the RX 6800, the one thing that really got me, and if you guys watched the live stream, once I saw the price point, I was really disappointed. Coming in at $579 US, I felt that this was a bit high. I still do. I think $550 or $549 would make more sense for AMD. But think of it like this. AMD probably knew that Nvidia was going to have these supply issues. We clearly saw it with the 3080 and 3090, and I guess they figured they're probably going to have these issues once again with the 3070. So what they did is they basically charged what they want to for the RX 6800 instead of trying to be more competitive with Nvidia's $499 price point, because you're not going to be able to buy those. So if you were in the market for something like a 3070 at $500, AMD will offer you a solution with double the VRAM, and it's a little bit faster for an $80 premium. And I believe that's the reason why they priced it the way they did. I personally believe that AMD will drop the price on these cards once stock for the 3070s become more reasonable, probably after the holiday season. But we'll have to wait and see there. If Nvidia can't produce these GPUs on the regular at a decent interval, perhaps AMD is going to be the only one with product on store shelves, in which case they can charge whatever they want. Just to harp on that one more time, like I said, I was disappointed during the live stream. I kind of understand it a little bit better now. It's a smart marketing move from AMD. It's a good way for them to offer product to people that want it and for them to make as much money off of them as possible. Now, to me, it's kind of a shame that AMD is going down the road of basically Intel and Nvidia, which is just maximize profits, don't really worry about market share. But we have seen that strategy fail for AMD, where they focus on market share and don't worry about profits. So it's kind of a chicken or the egg, and I kind of get where they're coming from. But it really sucks that AMD does not offer a GPU this holiday season at or below the same price as a next-generation console. Every single product from AMD costs more than both the top-end PS5 and top-end Xbox Series X. So for a lot of people out there, consoles are starting to look far more attractive, and the only way basically AMD is going to lower their prices is if Nvidia gets stock on shelves at MSRPs. Basically, we need Nvidia to start bringing down AMD prices, at least on the RX 6800. Now, obviously, AMD is far more competitive against the 3090 with the 6900 XT, and reasonably competitive with the 6800 XT versus the 3080. They're priced about the same, so that really doesn't matter. But there's one target segment here, and it's kind of funny that Nvidia is the one allowing AMD to charge more. This is just a complete role reversal, and this is one of the direct impacts of Nvidia not planning properly or not selling products at appropriate clock speeds. If I'm correct and they just can't get enough chips running at these basically 2 gigahertz clock speeds on the Samsung 8 nanometer, they should have just dropped clocks 5 or 10%. Yes, performance would be lower, but at the very least, they would have a product on the market. Right now, Nvidia is basically just playing the, hey, we got this thing that we might have in the future and maybe then you want to buy it. I don't think that's going to work for them too long. During the AMD reveal, I was a little upset by them not going into more of their feature set, because Nvidia's feature set is extremely impressive at this point in time. But once again, if you can't buy them, how impressive is something that you can't actually use? That's the real question, and it's a real conundrum. So to me, it makes no sense for Nvidia to go ahead and withhold stock, because they're being competed on all sorts of different fronts that they're not typically used to. So for them, it would have actually made sense to flood the market with as many products as they could before AMD's announcement and before AMD and the next-gen consoles release. This way, they get as many people out there taken care of. Those are guaranteed sales because they already have their money. They don't need to worry about fighting for money that they already have. And then they can compete thereafter. Or it's possible that Nvidia just felt AMD had nothing, but let's be real. We all had a pretty good idea of what was going on a few weeks before AMD's official reveal. And Nvidia has better information than you or I or anybody here on YouTube. So it's more likely they did know what was coming. They did know that their product stack was weak. They aren't able to get enough products out there. The fact that they pushed off the RTX 3070 for 2 weeks and it did bupkis to help with the supply issues really lets me know that that was more of a marketing move from Nvidia to go ahead and try and squeeze in between AMD's event, try to steal as much thunder from them as they could. But since you can't buy their products, there's no thunder to be stolen. If AMD has products on the shelf, people are going to buy those. People will spend that extra $80, even though they wanted to get the $499 RTX 3070. Many people will just spend that extra $80 and go with the AMD card. And that's the reason why I say AMD priced it the way that they did, and they're going to get away with it and be rewarded for it, because Nvidia just simply can't do their job. Well, alrighty guys, that's just my opinion on the whole situation. I'm a little frustrated, but honestly, I wasn't going to buy any of these cards anyway. I'm going to wait for the 3060 class and the RX 5600, 5600 XT. Those will be the two GPUs I will buy for the test bench, and then we can test games moving forward, side by side, basically price point to price point. For me, I'm a big fan of the $200 to $300 price point. Typically does everything that I want, so I'm okay with waiting. But like I said, if supply issues for Nvidia are this bad right now, with all of their advanced lead time, with pushing products back, AMD might be able to just run roughshod over the whole market this generation, at least for a while. And if that happens, we might see a far more aggressive AMD than we have in the past, much like what they're doing with the Ryzen CPUs, coming out with a 6-core 5600X at $300. To me, it looks bleak when there's not competition. We actually have products that do compete this time, so hopefully we will see products on the shelves. Prices will eventually come down, but hopefully it doesn't take too long for that to happen, because we know 7nm Ampere is coming out next year at some point, and RDNA 3 at the end of next year. So if the supply issues continue to be a problem until like June or July, then it becomes, well, shit, you might as well just wait until the end of the year and get the better cards. So it's really annoying when you can't get something right up front when value is maximum sometimes. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. I want to hear what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this whole situation? Are you just going to go with AMD? Are you thinking about going with consoles? I think that's what I'm most interested in. With these really high prices from both companies, I mean, not so much from Nvidia. Prices are actually okay at $499, but you can't buy it. So basically starting at $600 this generation for a new GPU. Are you maybe considering a PS5 or an Xbox Series X instead? Like I said, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on that. Or are you going to just suck it up and get one of these cards whenever they're available? Let me know in the comment section below. And once again, if you like the video, please smash that like button. Don't just tap it, smash it. That lets YouTube know that you enjoy this type of content, and then they recommend it to other people. We get more people in the good old gamer community, and then we get different perspectives, and I enjoy your perspectives. So thank you so much for supporting the channel. That's really all I have for you guys here today, and I will catch you guys in the next video.